Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are taking a look at the Buffalo Sabres as they have signed a contract extension for Dylan Cozens. Dylan Cozens cashes in on a pretty nice contract extension, and we're going to talk about that today. So the Buffalo Sabres have re-signed restricted free agent, or soon-to-be restricted free agent, Dylan Cozens. Dylan Cozens, coming off of his entry-level contract, decided to go the long-term route with the Buffalo Sabres, signing a 7-year, $49.7 million contract that will pay him $7.1 million per season. The former 7th overall pick back in 2019 from Whitehorse, Yukon, is now 21 years old. And in a breakout season, the Buffalo Sabres have decided to maybe take a risk on the young forward. Now, this has become a theme under the Kevin Adams era in Buffalo. And with high risk does come high reward as well. There is that possibility. It's a double-edged sword. And the Buffalo Sabres are looking to do what they did last year with Tage Thompson. So Tage Thompson last season had a really nice season for the Buffalo Sabres, and he got paid handsomely last year. I think it was around 7.5 or seven something per year for Tage Thompson. This season, he started this season as the leading goal scorer in the National Hockey League. That's right. And that's how good he was. And things have tailed off just a little bit for Tage Thompson, but his scoring pace is definitely outpacing his contract right now. And he's probably thinking, I probably should have looked to sign a shorter-term deal. That way I could cash in again here. But the Buffalo Sabres were willing to take that risk on Tage Thompson last summer, and it paid off really nice for them. Well, they seem to be doing the same thing here for the Whitehorse Yukon native. In his first season with the Buffalo Sabres back in the 2020-21 season, he picked up 13 points in 41 games. It really wasn't a great season for him. Sort of the same thing last year. His production started to go up to a half a point per game with 38 points in 79 games. And this season, he has already eclipsed those totals from last year in 30 less games. In this season, he has 43 points, 17 goals, 26 assists for 49 games this season. So, like I said, a huge difference, a drastic difference in Dylan Cozens' game this season. So, breaking down the actual contract here for Dylan Cozens, the contract itself is $7.1 million per season, and starting in the 2027-2028 season, for the final 3 years of this contract, he has a modified no-trade clause beginning in July 1st of 2027 with a 5-team no-trade list. The amount of actual money comes out, like I said, to $49.7 million. He has a $2 million signing bonus here in the first year of the deal, and the base salary stays the exact same the rest of the way, which will end up being $47.7 million, a 5.1 base salary this season, and like I said, that $2 million signing bonus, and the rest of his contract is $7.1 million per season on the Buffalo Sabres salary cap. Overall, I like this move by the Buffalo Sabres. This is them, like I said, trying to do what they did with Tage Thompson. But there is obviously that genuine amount of risk, and that risk is he might not be the guy that we think he is right now, that he's played this season. And there is a little bit of that still left. He still has something to prove, right? Because those first 2 years in Buffalo were not that great. And now all of a sudden he's become the player we've expected him to. So the good news is the Buffalo Sabres, this deal will take him till he's 28 years old, which, 7 years takes him right through his, really up until the middle of his prime. And the good news for Dylan Cozens is, at 28, 29 years old, he could kind of pull a Bo Horvat here and end up going back into the free agency market and dipping in right in the middle of his prime. And hopefully for Dylan Cozens, he's able to cash in on a pretty nice check. The NHL salary cap is going to be going up year after year here in the next 10 years. And hopefully in the next 7 years, it will be up enough where we could see Dylan Cozens maybe get a very nice contract. With that said, the Buffalo Sabres, like I said, great work here by Kevin Adams. I don't see it working with him, but he keeps proving me wrong with some of the guys he's drafted and some of these contracts. the Buffalo Sabres look pretty good. And, what's really good news here for the Sabres is, Jeff Skinner's playing a lot better. He's playing a little bit more to that level of that $9 million contract. And as the salary cap continues to increase year after year, that contract may not hurt as much. And with the production he's producing this year, it definitely hurts a little bit less than it did last year. The Buffalo Sabres are back. And I feel weird saying this, but they have a chance to make the playoffs this year. Pittsburgh, the Islanders, who have actually been playing quite well recently, they're going to be one of those teams. And the Buffalo Sabres, if they make the playoffs this year, it's going to be because they earned it. And if they do find a way to get into the postseason, oh man, I'm just thinking about another playoff series between the Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins potentially. I think that would be some great playoff hockey. With that said, what do you guys think in the comment section down below of the Buffalo Sabres re-signing and extending Dylan Cozens to a 7-year deal? Let me know your guys' thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.